The lies about me at Crazy Gail Wiki are becoming more and more outrageous. It used to be the website was like 95% truth and 5% lie. It's now more like 70% truth and 30% lie. And some of these lies I need to address. I'm in the Lori McBride section at crazygale.com. Let me just read over this. Formerly his publicist, Lori McBride is the wife of Brent Spiner. No, she's not. And mother of his child. One of the clones of Lori McBride is the wife of one of the Brent Spiner clones. And the Jesuits managed to get a marriage certificate out of that. And they've been presenting that in court and to the public as their proof that Lori McBride is married to Brent Spiner. The real Brent Spiner, not the Brent Spiner clone, has never married Lori McBride. As far as being the mother of Brent's child, the child has Brent Spiner's genes. It was done through artificial insemination and against Brent Spiner's permission. In other words, Lori McBride just let Brent know that she made herself pregnant with his stolen semen, and he didn't want the child. But because he wanted to marry me. But since she did this to him, what he did was he sort of adopted it. But actually, I don't want to go here right now because I'm going to help Brent protect his child. So I'm going to go on to another subject. I will say this, though, that any babies which Lori McBride has delivered that have Brent Spiner's genes, it was obtained through drug rape. It was not obtained through willing and knowing sex with Brent Spiner. And Jesuits have drug rape, which actually takes over your brain and directs your brain cell conversations. And Lori McBride basically fooled Brent into thinking he was making love to me when he was making love to her. That's how good their technology is. Okay, let me see. It says Gail became aware of Lori McBride through reading about her in the Star Trek fanzine data entries. I'm just going to hit the lies. In which many of the readers and editors would periodically discuss the cute blonde that was following around Brent. Yeah, that's true. I didn't know it was Lori McBride. I thought that was a business associate. Though I was concerned because the readers commented that this cute blonde was making him nervous. So I was a little concerned about this blonde. I didn't like the effect she was having on Brent because I loved him back then and I wanted him to be happy and be mentally healthy, and I could tell she wasn't doing that for him. Gail's initial reaction to the subject was wrought with suspicion, and she even wrote to ask Brent about it in one of her letters at the time. What's really amazing is I trusted Brent so much because when he talked to me on the phone in 91 and 92 and 93, I could tell he was deeply in love with me and absolutely crazy about me. So I wasn't really worried about her as being his lover. I thought possibly she was a paramount babysitter that the Jesuits assigned to him to protect him when he went out to cons, Star Trek conventions, and stuff like that, just to make sure that nothing went wrong. I really wasn't sure what she was. I didn't really worry about her too much because Brent was giving me so much attention on the phone. I figured if she couldn't be a girlfriend, I figured because he was just giving me too much attention. Let me see what else is here. Okay, let's go on here. Actually, I really do believe that she made him very nervous. So they're trying to act like that I'm wrong about that, but no. Lori McBride made him nervous. You need to see my movie, Brent Spiner's Rape, at GabrielleChana.com, GabrielleChana.com/church.html, and you will get the truth about his relationship about Brent Spiner's relationship with Lori McBride. It's right there in that movie. Okay, despite what she claimed to believe about the situation, there was no hiding what Gail actually felt and probably knew subconsciously, and Gail was fast on the defensive. She reassured herself by thinking that Brent was very attentive to her and wouldn't have room for another girlfriend, nor was he showing signs of cheating. Actually, I wasn't that worried about her. So when I found out about her in June 1996, I was absolutely devastated. I was shocked. It was a total surprise. I trusted Brent absolutely. I practically worshipped the ground he walked on, and I knew that he worshipped the ground I walked on, and he did. So I wasn't that worried about it. Our love was so awesome that I figured nobody could encroach on it. It was just so high. That was the feeling I had about our love. I felt that our love was so unusual, so awesome. I was writing a book about it. I thought I loved this great. That no woman could get anywhere near Brent because we had something that was just so incredibly awesome. And I was right, by the way. Okay. You may say, well, what happened to you that June 25th when you asked him about the girlfriend? I don't know. Maybe the Jesuits were using their brain control technology on me to get me to think about her then. I don't know what came over me. But all of a sudden, I just wanted to know about her. So I asked him on the phone. I said, Brent, what's this about this cute blonde? Is she your girlfriend? And he didn't answer. And then for some odd reason, I got riled up about it. It was like, I don't know why, anyways, and he didn't answer me, and then I forgot about it and went to bed. And what is written in there is correct there. They got that from my website. Let me just go past all this. But when I found out about her, I was just blown away. It just didn't make any sense. You know, that this man that I had this awesome love for, that inspired me to write a brilliant masterpiece novel, that he had apparently a shallow girlfriend. I knew she was shallow because she wanted to have a big birthday bash with this celebrity in public. And at that time, I was very private about my feelings for Brent, and I liked it that way. Because I felt our love was so awesome. I didn't want it exposed to the tabloids and the public and for it to get trashed out that way. Unfortunately, when you're in love with a celebrity, it's kind of hard to avoid the public. I've learned that now that I've been with them a while. So I've kind of gotten used to being I'm a celebrity myself right now, and I've gotten used to it. I don't like it, but I've learned to deal with it. I can handle it now. I handle it better than most of my family members do. But my family members don't understand, the ones that are getting on me because I've got such a strong, because I've basically become a celebrity online. They don't understand that once you become involved with a celebrity in a romantic fashion, you become a celebrity yourself. And whether you like it or not, you and your family members are going to be the victims of what we're going through right now. All this trash and stuff they put out about you. You say, well, what do you do? Well, at first it bothers you, but then you realize that that's just part of being a celebrity, and you just realize you just got to play. You just have to be strong and realize that you know in your heart what is true, and that God and you know what is true, and that's the main thing. You can try to correct the lies like I'm doing right now, but then you have to realize that not everybody's going to believe you, and some people will and some people won't, and you just can't let it get to you. That's all. As long as you know yourself that you're okay, that you're doing what's morally right, and that Jesus knows that you're doing what's right. As long as everything's okay between you and God, that's the main thing. That's more. My relationship with Jesus means more to me than the relationships going out this way. And the relationships going out this way only matter to me if they are people that I love and care about and that I respect. So anybody I love and care about and respect, I always try to treat them fairly and with respect, and respecting them as an individual, and not being abusive towards them like Laurie McBride does with Brent Spiner, not lying about them. So my attitude is, when you're a celebrity, which I am, without celebrity money, but I am a celebrity, what you got to focus on, you got to realize you're going to get trashed by some people in the public arena. It's something you just have to live with and deal with, and you can't let it get to you. So, and you got to realize that a lot of this stuff is out of your control. This is something that I've learned, which my family has yet to learn. You don't like it, though, when some of your family members get drawn into it when they're not interested in being celebrities, but just because they are your relative, they get drawn into it. And that's what's been happening to me. It happens to all celebrities. We don't like it, but what can we do? I didn't choose to become a celebrity because I became one because I fell in love with a celebrity. And he was in love with me, and that's how it happened. So if you want to fault me for being in love with Brent Spiner, hey, I'm doing what God wants me to do. He wants me to love him and support him. And I can't help it if some people just don't understand that. And because he happens to be a celebrity, that makes me a celebrity. I don't like it, but, it's the way it goes. And it's even worse when you're a target of the Jesuits. Okay. Gail and Brent broke up. They say that after I found out about Lori McBride that it broke up. That's a little too harsh of a term. However, despite the injury, what they're saying is that in June 1996, when I found out about Lori McBride because she stole Brent's credit cards and gave herself a public birthday party, and I read about it in the Houston Chronicle, and she lied and stated that Brent's mother, Sylvie, wrote that article. So she impersonated Brent's mother, Sylvie, and made it look like Brent's mother wrote the article when it was a Jesuit-written article. Jesuits do this all the time. So I read this article allegedly from Brent's mother, and I got really upset because it didn't make any sense. So we had such an awesome relationship, and he had this obviously shallow woman. I knew she was shallow because of the fact that she had this public birthday bash. Right away, when I found out about her, and I realized it was because I thought, what kind of a woman would want to celebrate her birthday with this celebrity with a public birthday bash at a Spago's restaurant in Los Angeles? I thought, if I was with Brent, I'd want to have a private birthday all alone, maybe a candlelight dinner, and say, goodbye world, it's just me and Brent, us alone. I thought, this what's wrong with this woman? Why does she want to have a public birthday bash? Right away, I concluded she was shallow and that I was far above her. That was my initial impression of her. Gail and Brent broke up. Let's just put it this way. Brent didn't want me to stop being romantic with him. He still loved me, but he was so obsessed with protecting me from Lori McBride. I think he was just grateful that I didn't dump him completely. And I knew there was something I didn't understand, so I kept him as a friend. And I transferred my affections to actor Franco Nero. I just mentioned that I liked Franco Nero, and then Brent put Frank on the phone, and on my wiretap phone, and then it went from there. Yet this would not be the end of the rivalry between the two women for reasons unknown to Gail at this time. Lori would go, yeah, I was kind of puzzled why she was stalking me. I thought, I gave up on Brent, and I'm letting her have him all to herself. So why is she going after me when I'm Franco Nero's woman? The only thing I could think of was that I knew she didn't love Brent Spiner. And I knew he didn't love her. I never, ever thought there was any genuine love between the two of them. I deduced, and I think I was somewhat correct, that she was forced on him by Paramount Studios. So I was pretty smart at the time. I figured out with about 80% accuracy why he had her. I knew she was a Paramount Studios girlfriend, and I knew that that he didn't really want her, and the reason I lost romantic feelings for him was because I felt like he should have stood up to Paramount Studios at that time, that he should not have allowed them to extort him into having this woman as a girlfriend. What I didn't know at that time was that he had actually gone to bed with her because he'd been drug raped into doing so quite extensively during that 3 weeks in September 1992. So I thought the reason that he had her was because Paramount threatened to fire him if he wouldn't keep her as girlfriend, because they were worried about my husband because of this letter my husband had written to Paramount threatening to give Brent bad publicity. My husband wrote that letter in 93. So I lost respect for Brent because I thought he was a coward, that he had his priorities all wrong, and that stuffing his millionaire bank account meant more to him than his love for me. So I thought he was kind of shallow, and I didn't think he was a mean or criminal person. And I thought he was generous to give me so much of his time when he was a world famous celebrity and I was just this nobody housewife. So I thought, well, I kind of balanced things out. I thought, well, he's generous to give me his time, even though I think that he puts his career above me, which I didn't appreciate. And so that's why I remained friends with him, but I lost all romantic feelings for him. I just wrote Brent a letter. I said, I'm sorry, Brent. Oh, no, not a letter, because I couldn't write him at that time. I talked to him on the wiretap phone. I said, I'm sorry, Brent, but I just don't have romantic feelings for you anymore. They're gone. I can't have romantic feelings for somebody who I don't feel is manly and who I feel is a coward. And I know you don't love this woman and she doesn't love you, and I don't understand it. So that was it. And I said, I think I'm going to try to find a man that has the manliness that you lack. That's what I told him. And I went for Franco Nero, and Franco Nero wanted to be involved with me. He posted his email address online right after he got onto my wiretap phone. And so Franco was interested in me. And Franco helped me get through that rough time because I transferred my romantic affections to Franco. Yet this would not be the end of the rivalry between the two women. For reasons unknown to Gail at this time, Lori would go on to stalk her and manipulate her life in strange ways. Yeah, I was kind of confused why Lori was doing this. The only thing I could think of, why Lori tried to burn down my mobile home in 1998 and why she hired people to trash out the yard in my mobile home in 1998, I thought she must have been jealous of me. Because I could tell that Brent didn't love her, and I think she was I thought at that time, she was trying to get Brent to marry her, and apparently I just felt, you got to understand, I really do believe back in 1996 that Brent would have wanted to continue his romantic long-distance relationship with me in spite of the fact that I knew about Lori McBride if I was willing to do so. I am the one that lost the romantic feelings, not Brent. He never lost his feelings for me. It was me who lost them. I was really insulted by this woman. Here I was risking the streets. So it isn't that that me and Brent broke up. I just lost my romantic feelings for him. I said, I'm sorry, Brent. I said, I'm not going to take you off the phone because I respect your generosity with giving me your time. And you're a wonderful friend, so I'll keep you as a friend, but I just don't have any romantic feelings for you anymore. I'm sorry. I don't dream about making love to you anymore. You just are not attractive to me. That's what I told him. I was still attracted to him, but he wasn't attractive to me. I guess Brent at that point, he let me know. He said he was just relieved that Franco was in my life, and he thought maybe Franco could protect me better from Lori McBride than he could. And very shortly after this, he allowed her to live in his house, and he deadbolted his bedroom door and wouldn't let her in because he was scared of her. She was hitting him over the head with fry pans and all sorts of stuff when she lived with him. That's because she wanted him to go to bed with her more, and he wasn't doing it. In fact, from what I understand, he did have 3 weeks of extensive sex with her in September 1992. He was drug raped the entire time and under brain control technology, thinking he was making love to me when he did it. And the Jesuits knew with their futuristic technology, most people wouldn't believe them. Believe him if he tried to tell people what she did. And that's how they got him, how she got her girlfriend status. She paid off police, doctors, engineers, lawyers, and various other authorities to patronize and not listen to Gail. She set fires around Gail's home and once put a clone of herself in a car and blew it up. That clone of herself happened they got the dates wrong here. That was like 2001. And right now we're in 1998. And blew it up just to show how far she would go. The attacks were numerous and Gail caught on quickly. Yeah, and then I fell down and was dizzy, and I got 9 stitches in my left knee, and then they tried to burn down my mobile home right after that. And then I noticed when the preacher of my church came over and I was in crutches that he came over to mow our lawn. He was very snooty towards me. He was a King James Bible believer, too. I'm so ashamed of him. He treated me like I was some mental case, and he was far above me. The Jesuits got him. He was cooperating with them, a King James Bible believer. That's why we allow people to join our church, even if they're not King James Bible believers, because I've learned from sad experience that just because somebody's a King James Bible believer does not mean that they can't be a Jesuit. Yeah. Oh. Let's go here. What else is here? In December of 1998, Gail. Okay, let's read all this. Nah. This is just too much, man. They're writing an encyclopedia about me. Okay, what happened was that after they tried to burn my home down, this was in Christmas '98, my ex-husband came home from his deployment, and he told me that it says he told Gail he talked to the neighbors about the fire incident, and they told him that they had witnessed my son setting the fires. Gail was furious and became adamant with her ex that it was Lori McBride who set the fires. They say my ex was so angry with my son that he threatened to whip him with a belt. Gail insisted I would divorce my ex if he punished my son for something he didn't do. This caused him to back off the issue somewhat, and so the integrity of my son's butt was spared. Nevertheless, here's where they're lying. They're claiming that my ex sent Dr. Castellone, who they said was my psychiatrist at the time, an email explaining his concerns about his wife's mental health. Dr. Castellone is not even a psychiatrist. And I will say this, he's a very nice person, and they're lying about him. He would never go against me like this. These are outrageous lies. And the Jesuits know it too. This section here where they're saying that the psychiatrist that diagnosed me with a paranoid schizophrenia was Dr. Castellone is a big lie. Dr. Castellone is not a psychiatrist. He's a family practice doctor. No, this is a bunch of crap. So they're saying that basically all the stuff that they're saying was Dr. Castellone was another doctor who was a psychiatrist. So this stuff's not true about him. You can go to, if you want, you can go to crazygail.com and look under the Lori McBride section. You'll see what I'm talking about here. It says at some point Gail became convinced they've really got this out of order. Okay, and now let's go. We were in 1998 with the fires. Now we're going to bounce back to 1996. Okay, December 1996. At some point, Gail became convinced that for reasons unknown, Lori McBride tried to rape Franco Nero. Well, I was getting online and studying pictures of Brent and Lori because I was really puzzled why he had her, and I thought maybe if I studied their pictures, I could figure it out. My initial impression of her was that she was shallow, self-centered, egocentric, and I didn't think she was a criminal, but she came across as somebody who liked to be in the limelight with her celebrity boyfriend, and I thought that was kind of shallow because I never felt that way about Brent. I loved him for who he was as a person, not his celebrity status, whereas this woman seemed like the only thing she cared about was the celebrity status of her boyfriend. She would have public birthday bashes. She made appearances with him at all of these celebrity affairs. And it seemed like the only thing she cared about was just to appear with him in public, and that she didn't really want to have any private moments with him where she had true oneness with him. So I really thought she was far inferior to me. I considered her very shallow and immature. She reminded me of a high school cheerleader type who had, as far as her level of maturity, like a high school girl or a junior high school girl, and that's how I saw her, as an immature, self-centered woman who only liked Brent because he was famous. And I figured if Brent ever lost his fame, she probably would, she'd be really upset because that's all she cared about in him. That was the impression I got. So, I was really surprised when she tried to rape Franco Nero. But I could tell from studying the photos, because I was watching, I was online studying every day what was going on between Brent and this girlfriend, because he was a significant part of my life. I wrote a novel for him, so I didn't really completely cut him out. I was studying him and her, Laura Reed, to try to figure out what was going on. I was confused. Even though I was with Franco Nero at the time, I didn't completely forget about Brent. So I looked at the internet photos and saw her wearing a V-neck that went down to her belly button. She was wearing purple lipstick, and she looked like she was. I saw a picture of her in London, when Brent and Laura Reed went to London, and Franco had a home in London. So I knew that Brent was going to visit Franco and probably give him some videos of me and pictures because Franco wanted them. And she had this look on her face like you could tell, like she was up to something, like she was getting ready to kill. And I thought, oh boy, that girlfriend of Brent's up to no good. And she was wearing a V-neck that went down to her belly button, so you could practically see the outlines of her breasts, and purple lipstick. It looked like purple online. I thought, what in the world is that woman up to? What is she doing going to London dressed like that with Brent next to her? So they showed a picture of Brent and her online, and she looked like this proud peacock, like she thought, oh, I'm so hot. Look at the way I'm dressed. I'm just so hot. And I thought, man, I said that woman is not Brent's type. He would never go for a woman like that. Well, I figured it out with the Germany photos. A couple days later, they posted pictures of Brent with Lori, and he was looking at her like, and she was like. So I thought, oh my God, she tried to seduce Franco Nero. I thought, why would she do that? I figured she was jealous of me because Franco really liked me, and he did. Franco was crazy about me in 1996. So I thought, oh my God, she was so jealous, she had to go rape Franco Nero. He said, you really believe she was jealous of you? Yeah, I did. Because she couldn't get a man to love her like my men love me. I knew Brent didn't love her. And I figured that he was with her because she was the paramount girlfriend that was imposed on him so he wouldn't lose his job. I was close. So I figured she was jealous of me because I managed to get Brent Spiner and Franco Nero to be genuinely in love with me, and she couldn't do it. All she could do was pretend like they were in love with her. So I figured she tried to rape Franco to get back at Brent because he wouldn't marry her. That's what I figured. That's what I was thinking. So they say at some point Gail became convinced that for reasons unknown, no, not reasons unknown, you lying Jesuit, I thought Lori was jealous of me because I knew Brent didn't love her. And now, even worse, she seemed so proud that she thought she broke up Brent's love for me, and she thought that would get me out of the picture. And now I had a celebrity even more famous than Brent in my life, and I could tell she was really upset about this. I think this woman seemed to have a really big ego. I noticed that about her when I observed her online. So that's what I was thinking at the time, folks. It's not for reasons unknown. I had her about 80% figured out. I'm a smart woman. Then, of course, I figured her out in December 1999 when the Lord said she's a Vatican agent. I thought, oh my God, then everything made sense. So, and I went back to Brent after that. I just begged him to forgive me. I said, I've misunderstood you. I didn't realize you had a criminal for a girlfriend. I realized then that voice that called me on the phone in July 93 and said, hey, bitch, what the fuck are you doing to my boyfriend? That was her. Okay, here's some more stuff. It's saying that in the 3 weeks of silence that I got from Brent in 1992, yeah, I never was sure about that because Brent wouldn't tell me. I'm reading what they're saying here. Vladimir Putin didn't inform me about the 3 weeks of silence. Brent told me himself. Let's see. During the trial in 2011, when Gail took Laurie McBride to court, Laurie McBride told Gail that not only did she have sex with Brent once, she had actually spent all week having sex with him. You need to watch my movie, Brent Spiner's Rape. That says it better than anything I could say. Not only did Brent penetrate all of her orifices, she pegged him with a strap-on and fisted him. This is correct, and he was under brain control technology at the time and thought he was making love to me. It's not that Brent was traumatized. Oh, yes, he was traumatized. Brent told me he actually literally went to the toilet and tried to throw up the brain control drugs, and he did a little bit. Brent was very traumatized. They are out and out lying here. That 3 weeks of silence that Brent gave me in September 1992 was probably the worst 3 weeks of his entire life. He was extremely traumatized. He was even considering suicide. In fact, he told me he probably would have committed suicide if I wasn't in his life because of that rape. It's not that Brent was traumatized. Jesuits, you are the most cold, heartless liars here. It's that they were too busy doing it in every imaginable way for him to have any time to contact her. Actually, Brent was too busy. The reason he didn't contact me in September 1992 is because Laurie McBride threatened to kill me if he did. That's what he told me. So he didn't contact me. And he was busy trying to figure out ways to stay away from her. But she always managed to find him. So they're lying there too. Okay. It says by the end of, okay, now they're claiming, during the trial, we had the Quebec trial in August 2011. It says by the end of the trial, Gail came to the much more palatable conclusion that Brent had been temporarily switched out with his clone while all of this was going on. No. I never, ever believed that that a clone, didn't even know about clone switch out technology till after the trial. I figured it out after the UFO abducted Brent. Because see, I figured the only way the UFO could have abducted Brent is they used transporter technology to take him off, and it was like Star Trek transporter technology. So I thought, ooh, they got transporter technology. That means what they can do is transport a clone of him into the spot where he's standing, and then take Brent out and do it at the same time, a split second, and nobody can see it. And that's how they got him to have sex with him in the courtroom. So I believe that they used the switch-out technology, which I've just described, in the courtroom. However, in September 1992, I did not believe that that was a result of switch-out technology. And they're lying here. They know I didn't believe that. That was the real Brent Spiner. I just thought he'd been drug raped, which was correct, and that it was only a one-day incident. Because Brent wouldn't open up to me because it was so traumatic for him. He couldn't talk about it with me. It just overwhelmed him too much. So they're out and out lying here. I did not conclude at the end of the trial that the September 1992 rape was with the clone and not Brent. I believed it was the real Brent Spiner. In fact, I think that's the only time that Laurie McBride has had sex with the real Brent Spiner, and that was September 1992. All the other sex that she's allegedly had with Brent since then has been with the clone. That's what I believe. So they're not right here. They're lying. They're trying to make it appear like I don't have the guts to face up to the truth about his real relationship with Laurie McBride. I know what his real relationship is with Laurie McBride. He's been trying to get rid of her ever since she drug raped him. She won't go away. It says Gail would go on to remind Brent of this profusely in the nude videos she later sent to help him recover from his sexual trauma. That's a lie. The nude videos were before the trial. In fact, I didn't send him any more nude videos after the trial. So the nude videos were basically requested by Vladimir Putin, not Brent. Brent never requested nude videos from me. He's a real gentleman. I'm not saying Vladimir's not a gentleman. Vladimir's just more direct about his sexual feelings towards me than Brent. Brent never requested nude videos from me. I will admit that he encouraged them, but he never really requested them. But because Vladimir wanted them, I said, I'm going to go ahead and send them to you too, Brent, because we considered ourselves married, and he couldn't be with me, and this was my way of making it up to him. That was in July 2011. That was not. The way that I tried to help him after the trial was I led him to Jesus Christ. I didn't send him nude videos. And those nude videos were not supposed to get out. That was supposed to be just between me and my husband. Lauren McBride was found guilty of all charges in court. Let me see what else is here. Okay, I think I've pretty much covered most of the lies in this section. Oh, here's another lie. Laurie McBride was found guilty of all charges in court, and a large number of Laurie McBride clones were publicly and viciously executed as a result. Actually, it was only about 4 or 5. The rest got away. The intent was to kill all of the Laurie McBride clones once and for all, but in a last-ditch effort to escape punishment for their crimes, the remaining Lauries awaiting execution broke free from their cages and escaped into a UFO, stealing Brent Spiner along with them. That is correct. Because Brent had become a born-again Christian. No, that is incorrect. He was not a born-again Christian at this time. That's why they were able to abduct him. If Brent was a born-again Christian, the UFOs would not have been able to take him, because Jesus would not allow his born-again Christian to be snatched away by the fallen angels. So this is wrong. This is incorrect. Brent became a born-again Christian after I had brain-to-brain communication with him and discovered he was in Egypt and told Terrance and Vladimir to go get him. And then as soon as we got him back to Earth, I said, Brent, I know what you can do so those aliens can't abduct you anymore. You need to go ask Jesus to save you. So he got saved after we got him back. They never could have taken him in the first place if he was a born-again Christian. I do not believe born-again Christians can be abducted by UFOs. So, that's a lie. Because Brent had become a born again. The reason the aliens left him alone was because of my prayers to Jesus. I really believe that. Because I was the born again Christian. And I believe Jesus Christ went to those fallen angels in that spacecraft and said, you better leave that man alone, because my Gail loves that man, and I'm going to protect that man, because she loves him, and because that man is part of my plan for her life. And he said, Jesus probably told those aliens, if you don't jump this Brent off in the near, immediately, I'm going to blow up or I'm going to do something terrible to you. I might disintegrate you. I might melt you on the spot. I mean, I don't know what Jesus would do, but whatever it was, he scared the lily livers out of a man, and they dumped Brent off in the desert. So, because Brent had become a born-again Christian by this time, the aliens decided to leave him alone. No, they left him alone because of my prayers, and instead turned on the Laurie clones that had beamed up to them, who they proceeded to rape and kill. That may be true. I'm not sure if they killed them, but Brent told me he heard them screaming in the other room. And I actually, brain to brain, heard them screaming. So, okay, so that's it on the Laurie section. There's some brief stuff I'm going to mention in another section. Something about, here it is, Gail and medicine. There's some lies in here I need to address. It says, strangely, while Gail dislikes psychiatry and psychology in general, she still holds a strong respect for Gerard Butler, who she believes is a psychiatrist. He is a psychiatrist. The reason I respect Gerard Butler is because he's a genius, and he uses psychiatry in combination with futuristic medicine. So he's a very brilliant psychiatrist. He's good, but most psychiatrists are kind of stupid, so I don't respect him. That's it right there. But Gerard's an exception. He's brilliant. He uses his knowledge of psychiatry in combination with futuristic medicine, and he's brilliant. He's probably one of the top 10 psychiatrists on planet Earth. He's fantastic. I do recall them saying that they say Gail is extraordinarily hypersensitive to her body. Anybody who has a systemic yeast infection is going to have all sorts of symptoms. I've learned to be sensitive to my body so that I can learn better how to treat my illnesses. I'm very in tune to my body, and it helps me to know how to respect my body and give it what it needs to get well. All these medicines they list, that's a bunch of lies. I'm only on Zyrtec or Allegra, Advil as needed, Seroquel and Sudafed as needed, and a multivitamin. That's it. I'm on nothing else. And I've made a whole video about that. So they're lying right here. I used to be on all the stuff they mentioned, but not all at the same time like this. I mean, this is just a gross exaggeration. Though I was on quite a bit before Jesus put me in the psych ward. Jesus said he had to put me in the psych ward because there they won't let you take anything unless it's through doctor's orders. And this way Jesus could force me to get off of everything. It worked. And then Jesus worked it out. He did a miracle cure on my body so that I didn't need those things anymore either. The Jesuits have an excerpt from the FDA's website, which includes the following warning. Unlike drugs, supplements are not intended to treat, diagnose, prevent, or cure diseases. That means supplements should not make claims such as reduces arthritic pain or treats heart disease. Claims like these can only legitimately be made for drugs, not dietary supplements. I don't really have a lot of respect for the FDA. I had a doctor in Seattle, and there was an allergy treatment that he used on his patients that was very effective. It was a form of immunotherapy. That's like allergy shots for allergies, but this was like 1 or 2 shots a month, and I forget what it was called. I think EPD or something. And he said that it was the most successful allergy treatment that he'd used on many of his patients. He recommended it for my son. And he said, Gail, the reason I can't do it is because the FDA bans it. They say it's not good. He says, I don't understand. In all clinical trials with this treatment, it's cost effective, very cheap. That's probably why the FDA wouldn't let it go through. Doctors couldn't make any money. They probably made a secret deal with the FDA saying, if you will ban this medical treatment, we'll pay you big time because we don't want to lose patients and money over this. I don't. You know who I think's behind the FDA? The Jesuits. So they're using the FDA to say that that you shouldn't take over-the-counter. Many supplements contain active ingredients that have strong biological effects in the body. This could make them unsafe in some situations and hurt or complicate your health. For example, the following actions could lead to... Yeah, I'm aware of that. I actually have about 4 medical books about this thick that I've read from cover to cover, and including several all about supplements. And whenever I get a prescription med, I usually go do a Google search on it and read everything I can about it to learn all the side effects, all the drug interactions, and all the areas where I can have problems. So I really educated myself well about everything I was taking to make sure that I didn't, take stuff that might counteract with something else I was taking. I'm pretty smart. You may say, well, then why did Jesus have to take you off of everything? It's because there were fillers in those supplements that the doctors didn't even know about that were they were like fertilizer for my germ. I discussed this in another video, why I took all those supplements. I'm going to get away from that right now. I don't know. This is going to be too long as it is. It's fun. I read somewhere else that they say anybody who's got a systemic yeast infection should be dead. And therefore, Gail has to be lying because she's alive. No. I am being miraculously cured by Jesus Christ. I would be dead if Jesus did not cure me of this. I really believe that. In fact, Brent's been talking to me brain to brain, and he said that Jesus has confided in him and said that one of the reasons he had to pull me out from my job was because I actually needed to be put in Jesus' hospital to get me over this yeast, because it had progressed to the point where if Jesus didn't intervene, that I would die. Vladimir Putin's wife died of this. People that have my yeast infection, when it gets systemic, have about a 50 to 60% chance of mortality. You say, how can you stay so calm when you have this illness? Because I am actually observing Jesus doing a miracle healing on my body. I've already seen it, and I have faith in him, and I'm under the care of the divine physician, so I don't worry. And I've seen him do it to my friends, Brent and Terrence and all that. They got AIDS virus and all sorts of stuff, and Jesus healed them. I do have a systemic yeast infection, and yes, it has its strong mortality rate. And I've had symptoms in my body. You need to listen to my tape about the yeast infection. It's all there, okay? I really believe that if not for Jesus' miracle cure in my body, that I would not be here talking to you right now. He's been looking out for me, the divine physician. Looking out for me. And now I pretty much covered I just had to deal with some lies at Crazy Gail, the Jesuit website. And this might help my men in trial, too, because they're in court against the Jesuits, and this might help them.